Welcome back to the EU Gears Spring Quarter Online Major. My name is Tun and I am here with Toby. Nice to see you, mate. We're back into it once again and we are back to the winners bracket side of things. Of course, we've seen Riga Reserve progress through the loser side. Now, what is going to happen on the winners bracket side of things? Toby, I actually had a chance to speak to Marsh throughout the week. He's feeling confident going into these games today.
Right, I'm here with Marsh from Rated R. You guys obviously finishing first in the regular season over the spring quarter, and how must that feel after all the time that has went on and it comes down to the final wire, it comes down to a couple of rounds? How does it feel to be the spring season champions?
It feels good. Obviously, we're happy with it, but we're not satisfied because we know the major's coming up. But still, the first week was a big week for us. It was a big win against Elevate. That kind of, put us in a really good position for the rest of the quarter. After that, it was just maintaining that, make sure that we beat the other teams. And then final week, obviously, we knew it was a competition. It was going to be a tight game, but we won on points. We knew that we were going to win on points if we just win at least one map, secure that map, and yeah, we're happy with that.
Every single time. Christ and Pupsy are going to drop here though, so Rated are still lifing them yet. Strikers gets a really nice kill on the Jack actually. Phelps going to go down. The elimination did tick on through, but maybe the domination will here for Rated R. They've pretty much been pinned in their whole round here, but it just takes one flick of the switch and maybe they can get something going. The crossfire coming in here from Dragons. The domination about to tick on through as well.
Just let's speak on you personally, because you missed the first quarter and now you come back in. Was there a period where you had to adjust to it? Because I know obviously you would have been playing the game beforehand. You tried to qualify for the very first start of the Pro League and didn't make it with your team then. Was there like an adjustment period for you, or would you just feel like you fit in straight away to the team?
I feel like in the first quarter when I started playing at the start, I feel like I was capable enough to do what I could on the game, still be good, still lead, still perform. But unfortunately things didn't go well. But when I did quit, I didn't actually keep up with any of the streams or teams. So when I came back, there was a short adjustment period. But I felt like I adapted quick and adjusted quick. And coming into Rated R shortly after coming back as well, it helped me kind of keep up with what's happening, what's going on. These guys were already performing prior to me joining, and obviously me joining just enhanced the team a little bit more, and obviously took us, us putting our work together and everybody like contributing to the team, which was taking us this far.
What do you think you added to the team then? Because I mean, Rated R were always sort of in and around, but there was always that little gap. Whereas now it is pretty much you guys and Elevate, Regal, and maybe a little bit behind. But what do you think you personally added to the squad?
This team with Pain, Strickers, Dogs, Dragons, this team has incredible slaying power. Probably, if I was to compare it like player for player, our team has the strongest slaying capability in Europe. But the thing is, one thing I felt like it was lacking when I first joined is a bit of like organization, a bit of discipline, in terms of like knowing when to stop a push, knowing when to like hold and set up rather than just constantly moving forward, and knowing when to move forward. So I feel like in this team, I gel quite a bit. I kind of lead around. I kind of tell these guys, like where to rotate, what to do. But that's obviously a team effort. Everybody puts their, everybody contributes to that, because in the team, I feel like, especially on escalation, every single player has to communicate and has to be able to call a play. And because not one person can't see the whole map, everybody has to contribute to that. Everybody has to kind of describe the map to each other. What's going on. I guess they might play this, they might do that. So I feel like that's what I brought to Rated R.
Cool. Let's speak about Rated R then. Who do you think's the best player on your team?
Best player on the team, okay. I mean, comfortably, I can say the best front spawn in Europe is Paint. That's hands down. Like, I've played front spawn in the past. I've seen people play front spawn. Even now, even with Elevate, I know they've got a few front spawn, but hands down, Paint is the best front spawn in the game. I'm sure, nobody can really contest that. But best player on the team, that's a hard one. We got a lot of good players. That's a hard one. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure if we can answer that.
My favorite's Dragons. I've always said my favorite's Dragons.
Yeah, Dragons is literally one of the top slayers. Like, not just in our team. I'd say he's top 3 slayers in Europe. Like, straight up, he's top 3 slayers in Europe. The damage he does, like he does it against, from the worst to the best teams. He's done it at the major. He's done it consistently throughout the Pro League. Yeah, keyword being consistently. He's done it every single game. And he just knows how to perform when things get tough.
So the major obviously going over towards online is going to be a little bit different from your usual trip over towards the States. I know I'm sure you're more than happy to sit in your bedroom and play Gears, though. It's nice and easy, I suppose. Not much, it's not a case of having to get a plane anywhere. It's nice and just roll out of bed and get into the major. There's a big prize pool on the line. Is there any different plans, like different sort of setups you would do in comparison to like the Pro League every single week? Obviously, this is a long form tournament, not just one game a week. Is there anything different that the team are going through?
Not really, not because before, even for the Pro League, we weren't treating it as a less important sort of thing. We were still giving it as much importance as we would to any other tournament. There's a big prize pool there, and obviously a big tournament. So yeah, we were still giving 100% in those tournaments. Obviously more effort against different teams in a sense. For example, Elevate, but yeah, we're still going to be just scrimming, going through our weaknesses, going through our strengths, trying to see what we can improve on, trying to watch VOD of other teams, our teams. So it's kind of going to be the same sort of structure in terms of how we're going to practice.
So your biggest threat going at this tournament has to be Elevate. I don't think anybody would really dispute that. I mean, how do you figure out how to beat Elevate? Because obviously through the season you beat them first week, they beat you last week, albeit you guys did win the title. How do you see you guys being able to beat Elevate? What's the plan? I'm sure you maybe don't want to maybe give it all away, but how do you see you beating them?
Well, Elevate, the thing is, the way they play is very teamwork based, but they try to incorporate that sort of aggressive gameplay as well at times. But the thing is, I feel like with our skill level, we play a stronger aggressive gameplay than them. When we play aggressive, we're more lethal, we do more damage. But the thing is, one thing we need to do is also bring in that teamwork into bringing in organized gameplay, make sure that we're playing methodical as well at times. That's one thing I feel like we've improved on massively since last quarter to this quarter, which is why I feel like we've even taken first to the Pro League, being able to balance that out. But yeah, we're just gonna have to break down what they do. They rotate quick. We know that already. We just have to rotate quicker. We've got a few straps up our sleeves that we know that they can't handle. Time and time again we've played against them and out rotated them, prioritized strategies and beating them that way. But we've also just clutched up in situations where they just can't let us catch up. Likewise with them as well. But end of the day, it just comes down to the event and who hits their bullets and who doesn't. So yeah, let's see what happens.
So the question is being asked a couple of times, and this is maybe just me and Fru and Toby throwing this one round here, but Elevate are like consensus the best EU team of all time across Gears and Gears 5. Do you think your squad has the potential to go to the level that they did across Europe, across a big amount of time?
It's an early step, it's early doors. I can't really say if we can do what they've done as well. But,
I mean, what you did as well, you were part of that.
Oh yeah, of course I was part of that, but the thing is, I 100% believe that our team can, surpass Elevate. And the thing is, what we can do as a team, that's just for us to prove and, kind of see where we can go with that, kind of like maximize our potential. Because I don't feel like we're at full potential right now. Even right now, I said this last quarter, but even now, I do not feel like we're at max potential, And we're not a cap team, and a cap team is a dangerous team because if you're capped, you can't really improve much. And I'm not going to say, we're going to do as much damage, but I just know that I have faith, I have confidence, but until we do it, I'm not going to talk too much in that situation.
So with you and guys in Elevate, things are very, very close. Is it good for the region to have that competition between you two? Is it good for both teams to have that competition? It's close. Close games are always, you can learn a little bit more from that.
Yeah, 100%. It's the first time actually in a long time where Europe's had close competition at the top level. For a long time, it has been, Elevate, Fable, tried to fight Fable, Epsilon, Fable. When I was in Fable, after I left Fable, it's always been that one team at the top of Europe. I feel like we're the first team in a long time to actually come in and contest them, but not only contest them, beat them as well. So yeah, I definitely think it's helpful for Europe. It gives other people around the scene a bit of motivation to think like, we can do this. Look at this team beating them. We should get back into the scene. Obviously, a lot of opportunities coming up as well. 2v2s with the EGL, Pro Leagues, the AM tourneys, Challenger tourneys. There's a lot of things to play for, so I think it's definitely healthy for the scene to have a good competition at the top.
Might be able to get that decap on B. I would have liked to maybe a meat shield there to walk himself into the ring, and 7 seconds now before Rated R look to lock in their first victory. First quarter victory, should I say, as Crimson's doesn't have enough in the tank. Rated R going to lock in that one round that they needed, and with it, should secure the spring quarter here, Chris.
Now, Rated are very much vying for the win here. And some interesting answers from Marsh. He said they've got a long way to go before they are sort of distinguished as the best team in Europe. Of course, they won the spring quarter just against Elevate. Do you think they have it in their locker, Toby? Do you think they could go on and be as successful as Elevate were? I think they, to answer the question myself, I think they've got opposition to propel them in that direction. I think the fact that these two are so good and are going to push each other all the way, time and time again, I think it's going to make both these teams very, very solid across the globe.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point, and something I've not really considered is that competition really drives improvement, right? In the business world, in sports and whatnot. 100%. And I think now Elevate finally have a worthy adversary. Of course, they used to have R Damage, now Regal as that second best spot, but there was a clear divide, right? But now you have Rated R taking the whole of the Pro League quarter and also beating them on multiple important occasions. And so, yeah, I think they are fairly well matched in that sense. The question is, can they actually be an Elevate roster, a long reigning Supreme roster? That is the $1 million question. I'm not so sure just yet. You heard Marsh talk about how Elevate really rely on team play, and they do that very, very well. Are Rated R just overly reliant on their individual skill, or do they also have the teamwork to match Elevate in the long term? I think that is yet to be foretold, but I can't wait to see how the journey progresses on that note.
Yeah, well, let's see. But right now, they do actually still have to get past Obey. Now, Obey have not really done very well so far this season, but Rated R will be feeling good going into this game. I think if anyone was to predict how this one would go, most people would go for Rated R. So, Rated R, what do they have to do here against Obey?
I think they just have to play their own game, right? They can't allow composure on Obey's side to get the better of them, and they also need to stay composed themselves, right? Obey have had some difficult matches so far, only by the skin of their teeth even winning their game in the winners bracket final to get here. And I think Rated R just need to play their own game. Me and you casted over them in the Pro League previously, yes. And Rated R just simply played as they usually do, and that's their aggressive self. They wolfpack every single team fight they possibly can, and oftentimes they have a very comfortable job of beating their opponents just through shotgun gameplay. And so as long as they keep to their usual factors, that like the shotguns, the wolfpacking, I don't see Obey having any hope of even winning a map here.
Yeah, it is going to be very, very tough for them. And honestly, if anyone was to predict a team that was going to drop in the losers bracket from the Pro League, everyone would have probably put their house on Obey in fairness. However, of course, Riga Reserve were the ones to drop down, and they have to make that losers bracket run. Obey just about got it done against the Academy. So they find themselves here. No easy games. Obviously, we're only with 12 teams. Things can get very, very spicy. But we're getting the picks and bans ready to go in a second as well. And we're going to be getting into this game very, very shortly. Actually, you know what? Let's just jump to them. Bands coming in on training grounds for Rated R, then District for Obey. We will then play Asylum coming in for Obey. It's been pretty much a staple pick for Obey, although they have really struggled to win much this season, of course. Then we will go over towards Exhibit, which is a Rated R favorite. Icebound gone, Masgar gone. We'll go to the bunker if we need it. Honestly, I like those for Rated R. I really, really do. Honestly, I wouldn't have minded something different from Obey, just maybe throw something different out there. But Asylum is a pick that they've went to time and time again. Toby, do you have much hope for them seeing that?
Not necessarily, no. It's a mainstay map, and it's an aggressive one of that. I've seen Rated R play very, very well on Asylum in past, even against Elevate themselves. I guess it's a missed opportunity potentially, because Obey are coming into this as a severe underdog, and I'd like to see them try and take opportunities here wherever they can, and that includes the pick and ban process. Right now we have a very vanilla process of that, and it's no surprise, in fact, Exhibit Rated R pick. We casted over that exact map, and Rated R were just having a world of a time down bottom in those shotgun fights. And Obey, yes, made plenty of mistakes. I hope not to see them today in a much more important matchup. But going on historical performances, this is a very strong map pick and ban process for Rated R, and again, perhaps a missed opportunity for Obey.
Yeah, it's one of those that, it's a case of pick your poison. If you're Obey Alliance in this case, Rated R, a team who went on to win it, Obey Alliance managed to barely win a map. So it's one of these things where if you are Obey Alliance, you just sort of try and pick something that can get you going. But we will be getting into this one fairly shortly. And I'm curious, thinking about the rest of the tournament, Toby, we haven't seen anything of Elevate yet. We will get to see them at some point tonight as well, where they will take on 3 times Rowdy. Do you think the Elevate will be happy with that matchup against them? They'll be very much thinking a grand final places on the cards.
Yeah, I think Elevate will actually be very happy. I think Regal Reserve, yes, is a team they've had plenty of practice against Elevate, and I don't think they lost them, in the Pro League. And so it's safe to say that Elevate now against 3x Rowdy have a different experience, I guess, than they used to. But I think it also leaves 3x Rowdy with a lot of weaknesses that Elevate can potentially expose. Rowdy haven't had the extortionate amount of practice against the top teams in Europe, the pro teams. And as such, they might make a few little minor mistakes here, which could really cost them rounds against a team with the likes of Elevate. We mentioned it. Elevate are all about teamwork and rotations and outplaying the enemy team as a team. And that could be very simple textbook gears for Elevate going against a unpracticed squad like Rowdy's or 3x Rowdy.
Yeah, it's one of those where I really do expect Elevate to push on through. I expect Rated R to win this game as well and set up a winners bracket final between those two, which is something we would love to see, of course. Very, very close games between them across the spring quarter. One apiece going into this one across spring anyway. Of course, Rated R edged them out on rounds when it comes down to it. It nearly came to the perfect tie. We had so many different tiebreakers that we had to go through to get to deal with who's actually going to win the league. And every single one we got given, we were so close. I think if Elevate won that last map 5-1, it would be perfect across the board.
Yeah.
As in same round difference against each other. It was mental how close it actually was. So we know that it's very hard to split them. One apiece in terms of games. Rated R and Elevate, let's just discuss this. I don't want to say it's a rivalry. Maybe there is a little bit of rivalry there because it's Gears. Everyone does like to talk a little bit of smack now and then. Which way do you see it going this weekend? Because I think if you were to put your smart money down, some would say Elevate.
Sure.
Just across the experience, across the whole of this, every single Pro League quarter that we've had so far, yes, okay, they've been the ones that have, for the most part, beat Rated R. But now with Marsh, they seem to be growing in confidence to Rated R. They had a better time in Mexico. It's a lot harder to decide now, whereas 6 months ago, you'd have bet your mortgage on the fact that Elevate were going to win this.
Exactly, that's it, isn't it? And I think this is a very important fact to consider, folks, is this is online, right? And Rated R are one of these teams, unlike Elevate, that might actually benefit from the fact that it's online, because Elevate, how many times have they been on main stage at Pro Circuit events throughout Gears 4 and Gears 5? Numerous amounts of times. You can't count it on 2 hands, but Rated R, a lot of those players have had little LAN experience in comparison, and as such, they might feel a lot more comfortable playing in the comfort of their own homes, and so that might be an advantage to Rated R, where otherwise it wouldn't be if they were at an actual LAN event in person. And I think that's an opportunity for Rated R to really take advantage of here in the experience that is this EU Major online this weekend. But likewise, Elevate, they've had some confusing moments at events where they've lost composure, they've lost to teams that everyone predict that they'd win against. Yeah. Maybe that helps them as well. Maybe that removes that main stage fear that might exist in that roster somewhere due to them playing online. So it's a very interesting dynamic, especially after such a competitive quarter and a well-performing quarter from Rated R. I cannot wait to see how this one plays out. And right now, I'm not sure which team to go with, Chris. I really don't know.
But that's a good thing, right? I mean, it would be, as casters and sort of analysts, it doesn't make our job very easy, does it? To try and predict which way it's going to go. Both have very different play styles. I mean, one doesn't necessarily negate the other. But right now, there is other games going on, though. So we will have a look through the brackets in just a second to get you guys up to speed to how things do lie. Let's have a look then. So Rated R against Orbit Alliance is what's coming up very, very shortly. Elevate 3 times Rowdy is going to be coming up after this in the winners bracket side of things. And yeah, 3 times Rowdy has to be the team that do stand out here. 2 big wins. Team Sick were not a team to be messed with either. A lot of us had them as, the ones that would go the furthest out of the challenger side of teams. They got knocked down straight away. Then beaten Regal 2-1. They've taken a couple of scalps there already, Toby. Is Elevate the next one, I wonder? It's maybe a step too far. It's still, though, it's not out of the question, I think.
I mean, it was out of the question of 3x Rowdy even upsetting Regal, right? We said maybe Obey is the team to get really have a shock performance against an amateur side. But I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, 3x Rowdy was a 2-1 finish against Regal. I don't think it's possible against Elevate. I would bet money that Elevate should see that through. Whether it's a 2-1, 2-0 due to a wild map performance from 3x Rowdy is yet to be seen. But I think you would bet that Elevate would take that one. I'm not sure if it's as safe a pick as, say, Rated R and Obey, because I really do favor Rated R in our matchup. I think it should be a swift 2-0 based on the performances in the Pro League. But I think our safest bet so far, Chris, overall, with the amount of surprises we've seen so far, is that Rated R and Elevate will meet in the winners bracket final.
It would make sense, wouldn't it? Let's have a look at the losers bracket to see how things are going to fold out now. The loser of this will play Riga Reserve or Hype, so that's something to keep an eye on. And then the other side of things, of course, one team will play either Team Sick or Gridiron, so there's very much some good teams in this losers bracket side of things. Looks like we're nearly ready to go in this one, so we will be getting into it very, very shortly. But, I mean, Riga Reserve and Hype, that's a game we'll keep an eye on. I do believe that will be going on at the same time. Just checking. So actually it is looking like it's Regal up 1-0 in that series already, a 5-0 win on Asylum. So one of these things where Regal Reserve have started this losers bracket run strongly against Steady. Looks like they're continuing that against Hype.
Yep, not too surprised there. Of course, Hype was a roster many people had question marks over. It's some Italian players, of course, and Movements is one player on that roster who actually performed very, very well on the recent Nasha Clash. Him and his partner managed to defeat Hydron and Jackfax in the grand final, which was quite a shock, actually, to a lot of teams and players and onlookers. But I guess something that I really like to point out very quickly, Chris, is the fact that Team Sick 2-0'd Academy reunited. And Team Sick was the team, I guess, me and Fru were predicting to be the strongest amateur team coming up here and the one with the most potential for upsetting a pro team. But they had a very poor start, didn't they, Chris? Yes. And it was a very unfortunate state of affairs for mine and Fru's predictions. But Team Sick are coming back strong and defeated Academy 2-0 after they were having a trailblazer of an event. And like many have said, it is literally upset central right now, this EU major.
Team Sick currently 4-3 up against Gridiron and map number 1 in that series as well. We will keep you all up to date. But this one is now ready to go. Just had a couple of connection issues for one of the players, but we are ready to get into it. Asylum Exhibit are the first two maps we will definitely see, and possibly Bunker. I believe we won't see Bunker, though. Honestly, Rated R have been on a tear in the spring quarter. They win it against Elevate just about. I don't think Obey Alliance are going to be enough to play against them here. Obey have scraped their way through to this winners bracket semi-final. And I just think a step too far to even take a map off Rated R the way that these guys are playing right now, though. But you never know. Things do sometimes change up when there's plenty of money on the line. The pressure is there for both these two teams. But Rated R will be expected to win this one. Obey Alliance, nothing to lose.
Yep, couldn't agree more, Chris. I think it'll be a safe 2-0 for Rated R, especially given the maps here. And this is one man on our screen who really needs to be talked about. It's Pains. Even Marsh there in that interview said that he's perhaps the best first spawn in Europe, maybe even in the whole game. And he's been so aggressive every single time I seem to spectate him that we should see more of the same. But it's actually J-Rage that flies in from the cut. Nice double up A to find two players. Dragons will fall as well. So Obey, a very, very good start from them.
Yeah, much better from them. And that's one thing with Obey, like, across the season, we've never sort of doubted the talent that some of these players do have. They've got ability, absolutely no doubt at that. But sometimes they just don't put it together, and it really does hurt them. But here we go, though. Rated R trying to fight back. A couple of kills going to J-Rage once again, who has just continued his streak. Still alive and kicking as well. Obey Alliance, so looking like they're going to lose C here. Strikers really didn't want that roll coming in, and Saki will deal with them fairly easily. Breaker will be here to pick up C as well. They got controller being a really good start to the round by Obey Alliance here. I don't think J-Rage has died yet. Can we go on J-Rage just to find out what he's sitting at right now? Dragons right now just trying to get a look, but 4-1. He has died actually, J-Rage. Maybe closer towards the second half of this round, but this push from Rated R is going to come through. J-Rage now has a bit of support. The rest of the team now following on through. It's this war of attrition that we often do see at the tracks. Looking like it's about to go Obey Alliance's way.
J-Rage, he's so hungry for the kills. You can just tell he's looking for any up A or back A opportunity. His teammates, I think there they are actually, just on the corner. Slays in, will get taken down finally, and J-Rage holding that right-hand advantage. Very good from Obey. Lovely retake back on the B hill after J-Rage and Co came off respawn. And this is good. I actually like to see Obey in these shotgun fights and doing well on the train tracks. It says a lot about their confidence and how individually prepared they are for this game. Of course, that's a strong department for Rated R, the shotgun, so if Obey can keep up with them, it's a very, very good sign.
Well, Bearlines with a nice start here. Rated R maybe just taking a little while to get warmed up. Slazen's currently sitting at 1 and 2. Not contributing as much as you would like to. Good Lancer Fire now coming in though as they look to get a hold of B. Obey Alliance now getting to the point where if you're Rated R, you need to get a hold of B. Pretty sharpish, but Slazen is going to punish Breaker there. Shouldn't have been able to find that kill, but he does so. And now is that going to be the moment that it can swing. Thankfully for Obey, TJ won the fight over towards Trax, so we'll be able to keep a hold of this point. J-Rage is going to find strikers as well as there is a fight going on towards C. Is this going to be the classic flick of the switch from Rated R? I wonder, but TJ is going to win the fight in the middle. His team are going to win over towards C. And that is a little elimination ticking in for Obey Alliance in round number 1.
Yeah, very composed were Obey there. Each of the individuals are like J-Rage in his shotgun fights. TJ, very good example there in the closing moments, holding his right hand and keeping distance and protecting, above all, the objective. Very good start from Obey, exactly what they needed. Question is, can Rated R bounce back now? It was neck and neck at the very start of this round as both teams elected to throw as many numbers as possible through to the tracks. I expect mirrored weapon placements from both these teams. Literally, in fact, smoke grenades on both sides to help with that very difficult push through the train tracks. Of course, we'll have to keep a close eye on that cut there in the middle of the map. The smoke grenades will definitely help facilitate pushes across there when the angles are coming on through.
Payne sitting at 2 respawns already, so he went down to 1 at one point in that round, so not the best start from him, and he's very much somebody that Rated R do rely on these big team fights. They're very much about your first spawn player. Payne's Marsh thinks he's actually the best spawn in Europe, and right now not having the best time of things against maybe the weakest team in the Pro League, has to be said. Payne's will have to back on down as Obey Alliance once again get control. Gridiron have went 1-0 up against Team Sick, who are really not having a good day, Toby. That's a surprise.
Up and down.
Yeah, it has been up and down, but into this one, Obey Alliance with a really good start. J-Rage not trying to overstep his mark yet. Will put some damage in, back on down. This is such a good start from Obey Alliance. There was rumors through the week of issues across the team. There's been issues for a few weeks, and right now those issues seem to be put to the side as they are putting Rated R to the sword. Marsh is nowhere near, and this is another domination coming on through. 2-0 to Obey. And this is maybe not just catching Rated R off guard, it's catching me off guard.
I am just so impressed right now with how Obey are playing. Every time we throw a camera on them, it just seems like everyone is doing their role perfectly. They're not overcommitting to fights. They're all working as a team. They're wolf packing when necessary. And they're winning on all fronts, home street and train tracks, where the B hill is included. I mean, clearly Rated R, they threw the smokes in. They wanted to play for that quick capture of the B hill and then set up. But Obey very quickly started throwing flashes in, made plays, and didn't let a single player run away from that entire fight. What more can you ask for? Obey firing on all cylinders, they're working together, and they're all on the same page. I don't know what has happened since their last matchup, but they seem like a different team right now.
So much better from Obey so far. Very much a different team, and Rated R have not been able to do anything here. One big flurry of kills towards the end is what Obey managed to get, and that's what won them the round.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, we're usually expecting that sort of thing from Rated R, but maybe the game's slowing down just a little bit now. Rated R potentially giving Obey the respect they seemingly deserve here.
Yeah, it's clear, right? Obey are just playing for the retake now on the train tracks. They're not even contesting that midpoint, which I think is fair, given Dragon's performances recently and the shotgun ability of these sides. But right now, Dragons is just lurking on this fence. Very strong position if you can let rip. Here we go. Trying to flank through, get a few shots on Ashens. Does get one shot, but Breaker does get it down on Dragons, or Strikers rather, as things do light up on the train tracks. Incend Throne is not going to connect with anybody. Ashen still trying to make plays here, as his teammate does come on from the back. Nice save from J-Rage as Marsh will fall. That's huge. Keeping B Hill rather under control. Obey overextending now.
Oh, Saki. Good shots there into Slazen. Is eventually dropped by some good shots by Strikers, who has a lot of work to do here. Finds a kill, backs down. Dragons is there for support as well. Can he find the second? Of course he can. Nicely done from Dragons. He's the one that stops that push, and maybe Rated R could start getting into the game after that now. Overextension over towards C is on the cards. We can see Obey are trying to defend towards the middle of the map on B as well. They haven't been able to do that, so they need to make sure they do actually push in towards C. Yeah, they are going to get a hold of that now. B will go over towards Rated R, though. And as with it, the win condition will too. 70 seconds now for Rated R to hold on. Not quite one of the gunfights that would usually see them win, it has to be said. These fights in the middle, starting to go towards Obey. Ashens nearly finds a kill there, but in the end, Rated R do find the kills in the middle, and they set their sights on C.
Yeah, this is a lot better from Rated R. They're starting to control the map a bit more and overextend and really put Obey under a lot of pressure. So be careful of the train coming. I was a little bit close as he was trying to judge whether he wanted to go for that down there or not. But he does opt for the B hill capture within the cover of the tracks. Incend thrown is tactical in nature and will force Saki off cover for 3 Rated R players to let rip with their lancers. J-Rage, behind you, still has an Incend in hand. Doesn't want to throw this too prematurely. He can use it to stop the break or ensure a kill. That is it. Perfect. Right on the top of the cover. Slazen will fall and B hill protected. Well played, J-Rage.
Win condition belongs to Obey Alliance here. 3-0 win would be, or lead I should say, would be unprecedented at this point. Rated R very much, I mean, we were speaking before the broadcast and I said this is going to be a quick game. And we feel as if the next one could be as well, but I mean, Obey Alliance here, playing so well. Eventually Rated R do come in with a push, and a 2-cap will be enough for them. As we can see, that win condition has ticked on through. They have the lead. Obey Alliance need to keep hold of this one, and the kills are raining through for them. They find 2. J-Rich is only going to be dropped by his own teammate. Strikers finds 1. Can he find much else? He finds a second. Breaker needs to go big for his team here. Trying his best to stay alive, finds 1. Breaker, surely not going to find much more. Here come the rest of the team. The domination taking on through, slays him. You've got to go, you've got to get a hold of it. Swarm win condition is up. Swarm will dominate in 5. It is going to be a hold by Rated R, but it's not going to be enough. And 2-cap will do it for Obey Alliance, and they have 10 seconds to hold on here. Nobody respawning up. Rated R are going to be 3-0 down after 3 rounds against Obey Alliance.
You know, Chris, I think we're witnessing something extra special from Obey right now. They just seem so composed, and Rated R have just not even had access to the game. It feels like they haven't been able to warm up or something. Dragons is down to 1 respawn immediately as we go into the last round of this first half. And again, J-Rage, he was playing very well with a shotgun. Of course, he had that amazing incend, that hold of B-Hill. They're just making it look very easy, our Obey right now. Mirrored weapon placements, nothing changing strategically. I expect fully that Obey will play for the retake here on the B-Hill again, just leaving Dragons to himself in that cut area, because it's working out so well for them.
And just, you know what? A man that has been slaughtered at times in this team was Breaker, and he came up with a clutch kill there.
Yeah, he did. He played it very well, didn't he? He was playing his cover,
kill. Yep.
Playing his distance, playing his life, and then when he needed to clutch up, he did, and boy, did he do it in style. Very well played indeed. As again, Obey playing quite passive here. Strike is clearly testing the water here up top against the man himself, Breaker.
But now let's bear in mind, this is actually Obey as a map pick, so should we be so surprised? Maybe not. But they really are putting Rated R to the sword here. Right now, though, nobody able to capture B. It technically works out for Obey. They will be the ones with the actual win condition if this is how it stayed. Marsh, though, one very deep incend going over the top there. We'll find J-Ridge. Is this going to be the opener? Good crossfire coming in, and Marsh is in turn taken down. Pains is then going to be dropped by Ashens. Really good crossfire coming in here from Obey Alliance with the Lancers. They're going to be able to get a hold of B here unless Rated R can push on through. We haven't seen enough from Rated R whatsoever so far. But Obey Alliance have not put a foot wrong yet.
And I love this from Obey. Just the map knowledge to get those angles on Marsh as he tries to make plays off that incend, and the perfect positioning is the gears I love to see. TJ secret manning around a corner, utilizing his shotgun to great effectiveness as he finds 2. Slazen will fall as well, as Obey members are not far behind, and Dragons quickly getting taken out thereafter. This is awesome from Obey. They've managed to overextend as well. Strikers has to save the day somehow. Breaker playing his life. He's keeping his distance, not allowing anyone close. But when they do get close, Rated R, they just aren't finding any kills, Chris.
They aren't at all. And that's one thing that maybe Rated R, you know, you alluded to it in the pregame. Do they sometimes rely on this slaying aspect of their game? Right now, they're being outslayed by Obey Alliance. Pains, Dragons, and Marsh all sitting on 0 respawns. The domination was ticked in there for Rated R momentarily. J-Rage is going to find Marsh, though. He's out. It's a 4v5. OB Alliance are about to be 4-0 up if they can hold off here. They're in a 5v4. Is it time for Rated R to really turn it on? You're going to have to. Dragons is going to be down. Oh, the Incense so good, though. They try to get themselves up. Slazin is out of the game. Dragons and Strikers going down. This is now 4-0 to OB Alliance in a second as the elimination ticks on through. Rated R are up against it. And honestly, I don't think Slazin leaving or disconnecting at that point would have made a difference. OB 4 up now.
Now, of course, the trouble of online is internet connection issues can come on through, but that was very sudden, very abrupt there at the end of the round. Did he exit?
I mean, somebody in the chat's questioning a rage quit the way that things were going there.
I know.
Good lord.
Ooh, it's 4-0, or should I say, in the Rated R's perspective, it's 0-4 down against a team they had no trouble dealing with in the past. Very comfortable opposition and matchup for them. But here they are on a very traditional Gears Esports map of Asylum, and they're performing dreadfully, should I say, Rated R, against the likes of Obey. I think it definitely leans more towards the side of Obey playing well rather than Rated R playing bad. But it is really just the game pace is being set by Obey right now. They're playing passive at every moment and every initial. Rated R trying to close the gap, but they're just Obey are just not letting them get close. And it's something amazing, I think, that we're experiencing right now, Chris. For this to happen in a major, some amazing performance so far like Obey is incredible. And my only hope now going forward is that Obey keeps this up, not only for this map, but next map, and maybe the following if necessary, and also the rest of the tournament, because this looks like a different team than what we've seen so far in the Pro League.
Technical pause has now come in, of course. We're waiting on Slazin getting back into the game. I did see him load back in, so he'll be there in just a second. But good lord.
Good lordy.
4-0 down. If you are Rated R, I said, for me, it's absolutely unprecedented. I honestly expected them to wipe the floor with OB Alliance, in all honesty. The way that OB have been playing, all the rumors going on throughout the week of, you know, potential team changes going to come through and players refusing to play at times and not wanting to play. But now they find themselves 4-0 up against Rated R. And map number 1, albeit, this is a fantastic start for them. We can see Slazin is back into the game. Maybe just didn't want to show us his stats. He must have been having a bad time with things. Who knows? But 4-0 up on OB Alliance. I presume they're just going to agree on a time and get things going.
Yep.
But Rated R need 5 rounds in a row to not find themselves 1-0 down in this series.
And it's definitely not over yet, Chris, because of course the E hill is now the center hill. It's up top, and it's a very different team fight than the train tracks. I think the tracks definitely favor Obey in that there's so many angles you can take. The incense spots can really force players off cover into no man's land, and it's very difficult actually to get out of that area due to how long the tracks are. And I think that, again, that favors Obey. But this up top fight could be a very good opportunity for Rated R to get up close and personal and do so much better on the initials.
Well, Rated R need to find something. Yeah, they have not been at the races whatsoever. Dragons is going to go down to Ashens, and it's a good start for Obey, but the shocks are in. Strikers is going to answer back with his as well, and that's going to down 2 Obey players. They're very, very patient with the shocks there. And that's why Rated R seemingly finding themselves with control off the start of this round. And they're going to keep on rolling as well. This is more like it from Rated R as they just keep on rolling this train through as 4 members of Obey go down. Saki playing the secret man, as he said.
Very secret. He's not letting a single part of the cloak come out until now. 1v1, Dragons trying to sit back and Lancer. Good shots. Saki isn't really let close enough to do much damage. Dragons will find him. Great composure from that individual. Strikers trying to hold on to the FL. Going for the domination, it's safe to say. Our Rated R. Marsh and Slazin just knocking about around the corner, but J-Rage does find that 1v against Marsh.
Strikers dodging trains and everything in the play that unfolded there, but OB Alliance hold on. Good play from Saki. He's the one that had to get a hold of something for his team to stop the domination ticking on through. And I tell you what, I'm sure OB Alliance would love to find a 5-0 here. Really good Lancer fire coming in here from Obey. They are just dropping Rated R like flies right now. They have to back on down. J-Rage knows that. Great shots around the corner onto Slazin as well, and just keeps on going with the Lancer as well. But here comes the push from Rated R. Saki is going to get dropped as well. Which way does this one go? Marsh is going to go down. J-Rage will get out as well. OB Alliance have control of E. He could just back down here, but the kill starting to swing in the favor of Rated R, who will take E back. OB Alliance maybe lingered a little bit too long. And Rated R come back swinging. Ashens is there to find 1 kill, will not find much else. ENF about to tick on forward for Rated R, and that's the first round win for them.
Yep. That was a very convincing round from Rated R, I will say. Obey were doing such a great job of staying alive as long as they were at that E-hill in those closing moments. But Rated R, they just stepped on the throats of their enemies and continued pushing on, utilizing their all-important and famous shotguns. Very good from Rated R. Of course, it's a momentous task actually trying to come back in this one with so many rounds down. But, you know, if any team can come back with aggression, it is Rated R, that's for sure. Obey just need to hold on. They had some moments of greatness, of course. Those lances we pointed out towards in the up top fight. Great downs coming on through. They just need to keep it up. And Obey did play very, very well on the home street in the second half in the previous match on the broadcast that we had for them. Let's see if they can do it here. Yeah.
Let's see though, Ashens and Co. Can they get this one back? He was very easily captured by Rated R, albeit a shock grenade did come on through to try and do something there, but not able to clean anything up there, Toby.
Yeah, lovely capture from Rated R despite the pressure in front of them from Obey, but Marsh and Slazen picking up kills down bottom. That's J-Rage and Saki down. Question is, are they going to try and push forward through the center now? Question is actually answered as Pains does fly through, find 1, but he gets taken down. Marsh, that's better from him, a double to kick things off here in this last final push. This is what you want to see from Marsh, especially given the tumultuous times in front of us. Domination, in fact, elimination will come on through. Very good job, Rated R. This is more of what we like to see from this team, pushing through the middle aggressively. Elevate love to do that themselves, and this is just more like it from them.
Comebacks on the cards. Has to be said. If you're Obey Alliance, you're not quite getting nervous yet, but 4-3 will definitely be something to worry about. Disable coming in from Rated R on the shot grenade, so I imagine Obey Alliance are going to answer in turn, are they? Or okay, yeah, all right, okay, I like that actually
okay.
from Obey. I don't mind it. It's aggressive. It means they're actually not going to be. They're going to be at a disadvantage, put it this way, towards E momentarily.
Yep.
But then that Incend's going to come over. They need to make sure it counts, though. Yes, okay, they're going to get it again, but they can't get blown away initially.
Yeah, I mean, it could certainly help in the latter half of this round when the respawns start coming through to have those extra incends for retakes. Let's see, though, in this initial, Dragons does get doubled down. I love that lantern from Obey. Careful not to get shotgunned in the process as Rated R do push up. Although I say that maybe a little bit too early. TJ does drop. J-Rage trying to get in with a chain reviver. Shock thrown into the mix as it's just electricity and fire everywhere in front of us now. Breaker lovely down on Marsh, and now he's going to try and rotate, perhaps overextend very soon. Instead, he elects to return to the safety of his side.
Rated R were ready for it. You can see them posturing back towards the middle tunnels. But here we go, big fight going to go on here. Marsh is eventually going to clean up 1 on Ashens, but TJ trying to push forward, can't quite land his shots. Breaker is there to help, but this push is going to come in now. TJ back up to full health, will be able to back on town, but not for long. Marsh once again finding kills with this Lancer. Saki's going to find 1 on the Marsh on the backside of things, though, and slays in nicely done against Breaker. He's come back in and picked up 6 kills, 8 assists, 9 deaths since the restart. And that's only in a couple of rounds, so nicely done from him. Rated R getting back into this one. The win condition belongs to them as well. 70 more seconds, and they'll be 1 round away. And these past 2 rounds, this round included, has been much more like it from Rated R, much more like what we're used to seeing. Whereas Obey Lines, that power that they seemingly developed in the first 3 rounds, or first 4 rounds, I should say, is somewhat disappeared. That this fight over towards where B was their bread and butter. Now that that isn't here, they haven't been able to do much across the map.
Yeah, certainly I think it's advantage Rated R now in the second half on a round-per-round basis, and this is more of the result you'd expect, right, and how they're playing. Lovely Lancer down from Marsh there, catching up J-Rage.
So
throws. Oh, lovely job from Ashens. Actually, can he get the revive? No, he can't, but his teammate is just around the corner. Rated R, though, they'll pressure nonetheless as they look for the kills. Instead, it is TJ that goes off for the double. Lovely job from him. And in fact, Slazin and Strikers, they're flying over back to the D hill now because Saki and J-Rage, they're being super aggressive here, Chris.
They're being aggressive and just trying to slow them down. If I'm OB, I back off from that now if I can. J-Rage is going to find one, though, before he does go down. Marsh is going to drop, as is Pins. The domination ticking in, Rated R over towards Edo. We're going to force one man away, and that is Ashens. He has to back down. But OB Alliance, the damage is potentially done. Win condition belongs to them of 30 seconds. They need to get E back, though, as they're going to lose D. Rated R in the lead as well. That win condition will pop up for them. So here we go. We need OB Alliance to get a hold of E if they want to take this map here and now. TJ has to find something. Can't. Dragons and Marsh combine well. J-Rage is there to answer back with a kill on the Pins, but the kills belong to Rated R for the most part. That shot coming in clutch. Dragons needs to hold on. Marsh finds one. Slays in another. Ashens and Co are fighting back. Slays and Marsh, though, do eventually answer in turn. The elimination ticks on through. Squeaky bum time for Rated R, and that round has to be said, but that's 3 in a row now, Toby. Nervous times.
Very nervous times indeed. And Obey, this is the question. Yeah, do they have the composure to see this one out? Clearly, Rated R have the second half pretty much on lockdown, if you will, until those closing moments of that round. Obey, lovely overextension. But the question is, are you able to rotate back to the E-Hill in time? And they weren't. They didn't have the numbers in the end at any point after it. And so Rated R just needed to carry on through with some shotguns. Only J-Rage's Incend from down bottom made that look as close as it did on that E-Hill. Question is, though, Chris, are things going to change now for Obey? Are they going to change things up? Are they going to be more aggressive in the E-Hill? I'd like to see them play like that. I mean, I have confidence in their shotguns at this point, thanks to the first half. TJ's been doing very well. J-Rage has had some great incense. Let's see. They just need the all-important kills to get some caps under their belts.
Looks as if the disable did come through on Obey's side of things this time around, so... Oh no, okay, the shock is here for Obey, sorry, and it's not going to be there for Rated R, I do apologize. So TJ now going to freely capture E. Marsh trying to do something with the Incend, doesn't do anything but zone them away. Doesn't find any kills, maybe a little bit of damage. The shot comes back in turn. Obey Alliance need this round.
Yeah, honestly, this up top fight is a game of utility, and that's something J-Rage has been doing very, very well with. Of course, those incens that I mentioned. The shot grenades have been pretty good from Obey, but it's the shotguns that can make the difference as Rated R are super aggressive onto J-Rage. They'll get the down. Breaker still pressuring, but Rated R have the numbers on this side. Meanwhile, Obey do have a lot of players regrouping, but still Rated R just revive chaining their way. Breaker and TJ pick up some kills. Rated R still flying through, picking up downs left, right, and center. And Obey, they can only just watch and wait as Rated R have a simple capture and a return to safety.
Strikers just about gets away and gets away with his final down. About to tick on through. Good shot going to come through there, and Breaker and Co will be able to set up in a position where they can capture the point. Marsh and Pains dropped. Marsh still alive and kicking, though. They know they can get rid of Strikers with one more down. That's why they concentrate a lot of fire, a lot of it coming in here from Breaker. They have to back down, though. They see the incends up, and they will back away. Now Marsh. Does he use this well? No, he doesn't. Onto the cover is going to force Ashens to have to move, but Sarkis is solid. 2 Strikers down, Marsh down 2. Suddenly a 4v3 up here. OB Alliance trying to get control of E, but the win condition does currently belong to them with nobody capturing E. So if they can get a hold of this midpoint, they're in a good spot. Ashens is gone. Rated R, though, will have the numbers. They will be coming back up. Another big fight about to come here at E.
Great
Here comes
flash.
the push from Rated R.
That was an awesome flash. Does stun a player for a second. TJ does find one on Slays in Breaker. Doesn't have right hand on his side, but he does roll to the safety. Here comes J-Rage. Striker says no. Big shotgun fight, 2v2. I think Strikers should get taken out now. A simple 2v1 for Obey to see this one out, but Rated R were able to overextend for a period of time down bottom, but keep an eye on that score top left. As Obey, if they can hold this now for 30 seconds, they will see this map out. Question is, can they do that now, as the new round of utility does spawn?
Here we go. It's going to come down to this for Rated R. Their utility needs to be solid. Once again, though, that Incend comes in. It hasn't found anything. Slazen has to go. He has to find kills. Marsh finds a drop under Breaker. Ashens answers in turn. Plenty of bodies dropping, but which way is it going to go? Marsh has killed his teammate. Breaker is out, though. This is a big gunfight. If Ashens can do something, he is going to go down, but they need to keep moving here. Rated R. Strikers keeps on rolling for his team. What can they get done here? They need to make this push. They need to get a hold of their own hills right now. Rated R are the only ones getting points. Nobody's over towards E. Pains pushes over towards this home hill. They've decapped it. Nobody over towards E either. That's going to go over towards Rated R. But what about this home hill? It's still Obey Alliance. They should still be able to get one off a one cap, can they? A win condition comes up for Rated R, though. It's enough on a 2. And somehow, some way, we find ourselves heading towards a round number 9. That's 4 in a row for Rated R. They clutch up when they need to. And we head to round number 9. This is not what we expected whatsoever here, Toby.
Oh, not at all. Obey's head could be in their hands right now. Each of their heads, in fact, as so many close rounds now have gone the way of Rated R, and it's 4 rounds in a row for Rated R, and it's got to hurt at this point in time. It all comes down to this last round, and honestly, this could be the match, guaranteed. If Rated R can come back from this and finalize this round 9, I think that's the whole match going their way in a 2-0 fashion. Drop shot being placed down in the center of the map to change up this E-fight completely.
Inject it into my veins, Toby.
And inject it directly, my friend. And this is the thing. Obey loves this drop shot placement, but right now, it could actually work because it's moving Rated R around the map, perhaps to their liking. Back down to the train tracks. Slazen picks up 1. Flames thrown into the mix as well. And it just seems to be Rated R across the board, winning left, right, and center as drop shot kill comes on through to Saki. Lovely incend from Ashens, but he should go down.
Well, Ashens is going to find Slazen and he will go down. Dragons will get out. Has the drop shot, but crucially did actually drop his shotgun for that one, so not really much Dragons can do up close and personal, but he does have that drop shot available for the rest of this round. But I'll tell you what, while all that was going on, Obey Alliance did get a hold of E. But Rated R have the tools to get this one back. It's not done and dusted yet. A couple of kills on the exit from Obey Alliance prevented this one from being done and dusted, but I tell you what, that's a couple of kills going in the opposite direction. TJ needs to stay alive. J-Rage on 0 respawns. TJ gone. J-Rage gone. Elimination about to take up, you feel. F is now going over towards Rated R. The domination is there. The domination is ticking. It's only a matter of time, surely, as they go down to 3 members. Saki drops. Ashens drops. Breaker and Saki. The last one's there. Breaker now. The impossible. The absolute impossible. He goes down in flames, as does Obey Alliance's confidence, as a 5-round sweep comes in from Rated R. And honestly, if you're Obey Alliance, you'd rather get 5-0'd. You'd rather get 5-0'd than that. 4-0 up, cruising. We head into the second half, and they get obliterated.
I cannot believe what I just witnessed, Chris. From the very first 2 rounds, I was trying to explain how special this current scenario is, but now it's gone the complete other way. Rated R get 5 rounds in a row, and some of those rounds perhaps should have been Obeys if they held their nerves. It didn't go that way, and instead Rated R have a drastic victory over Obey. And I think you nailed it there, Chris. Obey going into a second map would rather get 5-0'd than
100%.
that 5-round comeback, because how do you recover from that?
There is genuinely no worse way to lose. There's no worse way. You are cruising 4-0 up. Slazen, I don't know if he disconnected and just flicked a switch when he came back. It's just like, actually, I'm going to play it now.
Yeah.
And just started rolling. Those 5 rounds were classic Rated R. They're just as good as they need to be. The really good, clutch moments that they always seem to find, but then some dominating rounds in there as well. The first 4 rounds was as good as I've seen Obey Alliance play, full stop. Full stop. I've not seen them play that well ever in the Pro League. But what happened? I know we came to the switch where we move over towards E instead of B. Maybe that track's position was just working out for them so well, but surely you scrape around. Surely you scrape one more round. It was that one. The second last round, round number 8, was the one they had. And they give it away. Marsh went massive. The whole team for Rated R went massive to force that round number 9 where they just walked away with it plain and simply. The mid-drop shot, I respected it from Obey, but you need to win the fight. And it's against Rated R. It's that initial. You put all your eggs in that basket there and you make the risk even higher. And unfortunately, it doesn't work out in your favor. There you go. OB Alliance dropping map number 1. The expected outcome, but not in the way we thought we would get there, Toby.
That's
Good
safe
Lord.
for sure. Even in that last round, just to microscope that for a second, I saw Obey were able to take control of the E-Hill. They had about a 40 points difference, right, Chris? And they had numbers advantage for a period of time. Instead of waiting for that drop shot to rotate round and have a 4v4 anyway for the hill, I would have liked to see Obey be aggressive there and take that fight, that 2v2, 3v2, whatever it might have been, and then recollected themselves for the coming drop shot fight. Of course, friendly fire is on in Gears Esports. Even if the player wanted to send a drop shot over across the map into that team fight, they'd potentially kill their teammates in the process, and it's definitely something to consider there, given the scenario that was about to come through with the drop shot rotation.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable game there. What a way to kick off the winners bracket semi-finals, eh? A 5-4 victory for Rated R, 5 rounds in a row. A lot of people were saying choke. I don't maybe.
I mean, it wasn't clear if it was them just choking and underperforming, because it was traditional Rated R there in the second half, wasn't it? It was their typical pushes, their typical strats. Marsh was able to be that star player that he's known for, double kills left, right, and center. And you didn't really see much of Marsh in the first half, did you?
If you told me Rated R were going to win that 5-0, I probably wouldn't have questioned it. OB lost 5-0 to Regal the other day. Rated R, for me, are potentially a better team than Regal Reserve right now. They won the spring quarter. It's hard to argue against that. The fact that they won 5 in a row isn't the question. It's the fact that OB were up 4. You needed 1 round. It's a difficult one. It is a difficult one because Rated R winning 5 rounds in a row against OB isn't out of the question by any stretch of the imagination, clearly, as they do it there in the second half. Incredible map number 1. And for me now, as we look at how the rest of the series is going to play out, that's got to be it for OB in this match. Surely.
It's Exhibit as well, Chris. It's a tougher map, in my opinion, for OB to win out on.
100%. If I'm OB Alliance, my head is not only in the bin's on fire, and someone's thrown it out the window. I mean, it's gone at this point. Composure is no longer existent. If Rated R win this 5-0, it would not shock me one bit. Wouldn't shock me one bit.
Wouldn't. Honestly, it wouldn't. And essentially, it was 5 rounds in a row for Rated R, right? Who would bet against them at this point for doing the exact same here on Exhibit? It's a tough one because they had a very good first half, Chris. I was super impressed. If you change their gamer tags out and the overlay at the top of the screen out for Elevate, I'd have been like, yeah, that's Elevate playing very well. Great job from them. And even for Elevate to get 4 rounds in a row against Rated R would have been a feat of itself. And so Obey, they'll be kicking themselves. But if they can kind of recollect themselves here somehow after that crushing loss and perform like they did in the first half of Asylum, we could have a game on our hands. But it's looking bleak, safe to say.
It is indeed. And if you're Obey now, you've got to be hurting from that. After everything that's went on, you find yourself up 4-0. Albeit, 4-0 map number 1, you're not cruising in the series by any sense of the imagination, but you're in a good spot. And it just gets thrown away like that. All things said and done, they've had a good start to this round. And that's what you like to see. If they can get a couple of rounds here early, they can regain. But it's the start they would have wanted. Rated R will have to back on down and see what they can do here, but let's see from OB Alliance. OB do like to play a very passive game on Exhibit. They like Snarky to push over the top and try to overextend. So let's see if that can work out for them. But right now, they do have control. They are going to lose their home hill, though, as the overextension comes in from Rated R. Now, if you're OB Alliance, you need to start winning some fights. But Strikers comes around behind, disrupts that. And suddenly, the push is going to come in here from Rated R.
Yeah, lovely flying from Strikers here. And he's going to opt to back out as well. No shock that. And just set up back on this B hill. And it's a good opener from Obey, right? They got a number of points under the belt. And they have time now to kind of formulate a strategy to retake down bottom. And the question is, will Saki continue to perform up top as well as he has previously on this map? TJ is teaming up with J-Rage right now, in fact, looking to see if they can do anything on the home street. And it's 3 up top as well, so it's clear to Rated R right now what Obey's approach is. The question is, are Obey going to continue pushing down this home street with it being so predictable? I'm not sure.
Swarm win condition is 50 seconds away as Obey start this push that they need to find, but it's easy pickings for Dragons, who will find 2, make that 3, albeit 3 very, very easy kills. The chain revive coming in, and he just cleans up shop. He will run over the top of the bridge and head over towards A. Ashens, I like this from him, needs to do something for his team. B's in his sights, he decaps at least, but will be taken down. Marsh and Payton's combined well, the elimination ticks up. That's 1-0 to Rated R. I said I need to see a good start from Obey here if they want a chance in this series. Not comfortable for Rated R, but around that they managed to win fairly easily, if you like.
Yeah, I mean...
It's a tough one, isn't it?
It is. It was a good start from Obey. It was just unfortunate that Rated R was so handily able to come back and get into the thick of the fights there down bottom. I mean, when I casted over this exact matchup on the exact map last time, Chris, in the Pro League, it was really Rated R performing a lot better with their shotguns, relatively speaking, compared to Obey. But I think Obey are performing a little bit better today, it seems, shotgun-wise. The main mistake they made, though, was they kept giving away deaths. They always gave the opening kill away to Rated R. And that's really an important point to make on Exhibit. The corridors are a very difficult situation to play out and see out successfully. And keeping your players alive is key.
Gridiron and TeamSick, 1-1 in that series right now. Loser of that goes home. Breaker's done well there to get hold of the kill on the pins, but couldn't quite save J-Rage in time. But good couple of kills flurrying through here for Obey Alliance. Breaker putting shots in where he can. You know what, Breaker, not necessarily having the best map, but he had a really, really good start for his team. Was a big reason as to why they found a couple of rounds at the beginning of that Asylum, at least anyway. J-Rage was phenomenal also. Breaker, he's trying his best to get some kills here. Does find one on the Strikers, is going to go down to Dragons, but the job is done. They did keep a hold of B momentarily, but Rated R will get this one back. Albeit not out of this yet. There's been a couple of moments where a kill here or there, and suddenly they're in a much better position, but the force comes through from Dragons, who is going to get dropped as well. TJ is able to clean this one up, and J-Rage and TJ trying to do something down low here. Saki, what can he do from this angle? We know he likes to play this bridge, but the kill's starting to run through for Obey down low. Strikers pushes, finds the kill. Can he find anything else here as well? The shot's going to go through. He will be taking down Obey Alliance, getting the better of Rated R down low, and will make the push over towards B.
Yep, brilliant job from Obey. It was a difficult retake, but they did it in the end, and now it's their turn to try and stat up. And of course, the win condition does swing their way. As it stands, Breaker is looking for that secret man, and this is really difficult moment for Obey. They just need to make sure they stay alive. And Rated R are just so good at breaking the ice in against any team, really, that Breaker needs to be super careful that players don't sprint at him at this point and revive chain their way through Obey's setup here. Get ready to run. I'd be screaming if anything. Dragons is pretty weak. Just going to opt out, actually, and rotate round. That's going to force Obey players to turn around. Breaker doesn't care, though. Still battling through. Lovely jump on Pains, though. Not much damage put his way. He's still confident, mind you. He's still looking for that 1v1. Confident his team to win the shotgun fights elsewhere. And Breaker shuts that player down in the form of Strikers. Good job from him. 25 seconds on the clock. All I'd be screaming right now, Chris, is to not throw it away. And in fact, they're definitely not going to do that. Saki performs on the home street as standard. 1-1 now.
Breaker. Good lord. Where's this been all season, fella?
I know, right? He's not missing shots, if anything. He's confident with his shotgun. He's always opting to keep it out rather than pistol at medium range, then up to his shotgun. It does really go to show how confident he is in these 1v1 fights. Well done optimizing right-hand advantage there, so close to the spawn. It's a difficult position. Of course, you heard me stating, hey, get ready to get back and don't throw this away, but no, he did it well. I'm happy with his performance there. Well done.
Nicely done. And maybe the aggression out of Obey Alliance is the thing that's been the catalyst for them getting back into this one, in all honesty. It's almost like they've been playing a little bit scared all season. And the fact that they're now just sort of like, I mean, yes, okay, they did lose 5 rounds in a row on Asylum. Let's not get that twisted. But at the same time, like, it just seems that they're playing with a little bit more aggression, and it seems to be working out for them. One apiece here between Rated R and Obey Alliance. Kills coming in from Breaker again. Sagi's going to find one. TJ's going to find it down here as well. That's 3 very, very quick kills coming in for Obey. And they will be able to lock B in. Can they find much else? Marsh is going to go down as well. TJ survives. and there's only one player left. It is going to be Strikers. He's going to be dropped as well. The domination could tick on through here. Rated R coming in off the spawn. OB Alliance, can they hold on? Can they get this ticked in? Ashen's going to find one. Dragons is gone. The drop comes in on Pains. That is flawless from Obey. That's 2 rounds in a row. 2-1 up now.
You love to see it. Honestly, Obey pushing up top aggressively. Also down bottom. Shotguns blazing. I didn't see a pistol or Lancer in sight there, Chris. And that's exactly what you need to see. Ultimately, Gears Esports comes down to a team's effectiveness on pushes. And of course, that involves shotguns. You can't just run at people with Lancers out constantly. And so it's different at different points. Obey do need to start shotgunning and get aggressive and Wolfpack. And that's the thing. They're on the same page in this whole matchup today. In the entire Pro League quarter, it just seems like Rated R and other teams were able to pick them apart because they were playing a lot more individually and not on the same page. But now they're Wolfpacking. Their shotguns seem to be very much on point on every individual player's basis. And it's a confident gameplay from Obey despite that crushing loss. And it's very much needed for sure.
Ashens is going to get dropped by some good Lancer fire coming in here for Rated R. But they will be able to get him back up. That looked like a good incend from Dragons, but a hair away from finding 2. Waited for the pickup to come in, but couldn't quite find the double. He is going to find a down, or at least a bit of damage coming in. It was actually Saki who's finding the down up top, finding the kill onto Pains. His Breaker there to help him out. Dragons trying to play the secret corner here. He's going to get caught out by TJ. J-Rage kills Ashens. Absolute chaos down low, but I tell you what, it's Obey Alliance again. If their composure hadn't just disappeared on Asylum, they'd be 1-0 up. Looking to go 3-1 up here in map number 2. Obey Alliance aren't done. They are not done here at all.
You know, just judging from how they're playing individually and Breaker's positioning and shotgunning and confidence, it does seem like their heads aren't knocked down. It seems like a game, a map number 1 and Obey are just showing up once more. Breaker finding his kills, TJ picking up another, J-Rage will fall, but I think Rated R should be able to push through Breaker, being able to shut these players down, crosses left, right, and center. As Obey, Breaker does get dropped. Domination coming on through, though, potentially. Saki overextending, just about break coming through on the B side of the map. A-Hill lost. Rated R still very much in this round.
They will get a hold of B. The win condition will belong to them as well. Obey Alliance's lead is decent, but not big enough. They have to come back into this one. They have to recapture something. Like that from Saki, though. We said he likes that overextension, and it worked out from there, but that's a good flash. Here come Rated R. They're now going to start pushing. TJ drops, as does Breaker, and it all sort of just unfolds. If you're Obey, J-Rage now being chased down as well. It's got Saki there for company with the Lancer, trying to put fire down where he can as Ashens drops as well. Good spot for Rated R here. They're going to try and tie this up at the half. Lives were reset after this, but looking towards it, it's only really Strikers in a bad spot alongside TJ, but J-Rage on the overextension. Once again, the decap will do, and just being a nuisance for his team is fine, because Obey Alliance on a 1 cap will be fine. Ashens and Saki, though, are dropping. J-Rage is now dead as well. Eventually, it's looking like a Rated R round.
Domination blinking. Breaker will get in there in time, but honestly, the score lead is just so significant now for Rated R. If Obey can even get back into the scenario that you'd bet on them. Lovely shotgunning from Saki, bouncing add to that as well. Actually, kills across the board. 4 players down for now. Rated R just coming off respawn. It's potentially 1 player. 15 seconds to go. Can Obey somehow fly over to the A-Hill?
Gotta go. And they get over there in time.
They've got the time, Chris.
Yeah, if they can get a hold of B, where's this win condition gonna go? It should. Is it going to go Obey's way? No, it's not. It's a little bit too late. They need to go. They need to make sure they get this 3 cap, or at least decap it. The kills are going to come through here as well, but 5 seconds. You need to go, and you need to go now if you're Obey Alliance. They were just a little bit too slow capturing B. And that's a 1-point victory for Rated R. Oh, Obey. Oh. They had nobody there. I don't know if somebody jumped off it maybe a little bit too early when they were capturing, but oh, that very much could have been 3-1.
It certainly could. That's a swing round, if you'd ask me, Chris. That could be very telling in the future rounds to come. Again, I just hope Obey stay composed. You know, they've done the hard bit of performing at the start of this map after Asylum, but they just need to keep their heads held high, as it was a close round, and I'm sure they can produce more rounds exactly like that as we go into the second half. Utility hasn't changed that much. I think it's literally mirrored at this point on every weapon placement spot. A Break had a little bit of a misroll, actually. Did this individual previously in a very important team fight. I'm just hoping that they can perform mechanically as they have passed. Great. I mean, great Incend. It blocks off. It doesn't get the kill that perhaps J-Rage was looking for. Strikers does get taken down. Ashens is probably going to get taken out as well. Oh, that's a big shotgun fight victory as well from Marsh finding TJ. J-Rage should fall as well, and Radar, they're going to have a field day now at the E-Hill.
You just keep getting aggressive. They will get a hold of E. F will be captured in a second. There's actually a big fight going to go on here. Saki was trying to play a little bit of a secret position there, trying his best to stay alive, but the domination about to tick on through. Saki, you suddenly need to do something. He's going to go down. The domination ticks up. That should be ticking in, although it's denied over towards D. Ashens and Co just about hanging on. Dragons is momentarily the only one left here. He will get the kill. He will get down. Here comes the up as well. Ashens has to back down, as the rest of his team have been dropped as well. This domination's been ticking in from Rated R for quite some time. The kill's starting to go in their favor as well. Unless Saki can come up with something. Finds one. Has backup now as well. Obey may just hold on here in this round. And look at the score. It's not that close to Rated R. Yes, it is about a 70-point lead or so, but they've still got time to do something here. Obey, they just about hang on, though.
Yeah, they have time, and that's the important thing. Obey can really just try and work out how they're going to push down bottom, how they're going to make these plays, as Rated R are sat back quite passively up top as well, it seems. Ashen's very quick to take that cover. Slays and Radar very close. Lovely Incend onto Saki there from Marsh. That will open the numbers up a little bit now for them to let rip down this corridor. TJ trying to back off. He will get dropped. Ashen's trying to recover and get back to past covers. But lovely kill from him onto Marsh as he's pinball bouncing as fast as he can. That's not going to stop them, though, as Rated R have a big score lead now at this point in time, and they're still racking up the kills.
Still racking up the kills and will want to solidify this round. The elimination ticking through. And will lock it. 3-2 Rated R now. They have their lead once again. And honestly, Obey haven't been too far away in these rounds. It could be a very, very different scoreline. Rated R very much deserved that one, but this one's not done yet.
Yeah, it was a much more convincing round from Rated R, that's safe to say, than the prior. The question is, though, is Obey going to go for the typical drop shot placement that they've been doing in every single map they played so far, I think, in this tournament broadcast? I wonder. I mean, currently, I don't think it's a safe bet. I'd rather just keep it as is and bank on the fact that they can perform mechanically and do well in these shotgun fights down the corridors. They just need to see the rounds out oftentimes. I'm hoping, for their sake, that they can potentially win this next round as more utility is thrown into the mix.
And here we go. Can Rated R extend this now? Get a little bit of breathing room between themselves and Obey Alliance. Hasn't been much breathing room the whole series. Striker's going to get taken down. A nicely placed Incend by J-Rage, who will probably stop that push coming through for Obey Alliance, as they want to maybe warm themselves up before the push in towards E, but Dragons well positioned to keep them away. Obey Alliance's advantage is pretty much gone momentarily, and Rated R will sit back and soak up the pressure where they need to, but Obey with a decent amount of positioning down low. Maybe E is in their sights.
Great angles from Ashens there, and a Lancer from up top, I believe, momentarily. Payne's got down, but revives soon after. But I think Rated R are going to try and mount the counter-offensive here on the opposite side. Breaker will fall again. That's the early pick. Unfortunately, that's not going to help Obey one bit. Breaker being dropped there. Ashen still letting rip with that Lancer. He's done such a good job here on that midpoint of the map. Just moving in a little bit, but it's unfortunately a very weak position. Of course, Slazen just going to simply angle him out. He's not going to be able to do much there other than flank, potentially, but he wasn't really in a position to do that either due to the number scenario around him. Questionable mantle over that cover, but a lovely, fantastic Incend, in fact, from that cover there. Breaker turns round, looking for that flank. He says no, hits every shot perfectly. Good job from Breaker.
Breaker once again having a very good game here. Just to let you guys know that it was Riga Reserve that beat Hype as well. So the loser of this will play Riga Reserve. So no easy games whatsoever. Looking more likely like Obey Alliance will drop down against their Pro League counterparts. Swan win condition ticks on through here. Rated R with a very slight lead, looking like they're going to get a hold of E here as well, as Obey Alliance are just about forced away. Breaker down 1 respawn here as well, and bearing in mind we're into the second half, needs to keep an eye on that.
Yeah. Still 60 seconds to go. And Obey have time to work with, but Saki's going to get taken out down bottom now. It's Breaker who takes up the mantelpiece up top for this big 1v1. I think Marsh, yep, he's rotated up top now. I mean, Breaker has right hand if he can get around that pillar somehow. That could be a very important 1v for the rest of this round, but right now no one is moving, but the onus is definitely on Breaker to go here.
Yep, Obey have to go. And they have to go now. TJ setting up, trying to put shots in where he can. Slayton is going to get dropped. Is that going to be the moment now that Obey Alliance choose to move? They need to. Good spread by TJ, but equally as good from Pains. Saki did eventually clean up a kill there as well, as Dragons gets a hold of the Incend. If you're Obey Alliance, you need to get a hold of E, because here comes the fire. It's not well placed though. J-Rage will get E and will get out, but only momentarily. He then does drop. Dragons now pushing forward, trying to find the kill. He cleans this one up. Pains is there as well. Saki finds one. Can he find anything else? Not quite, but the bullets of Dragons Nasher. E goes back towards Rated R. 10 seconds for the win condition. That will be 4-2 to Rated R. Can they close this one out? Obey Alliance seemingly nowhere near. Breaker drops. Ashen's the only one anywhere near to do anything there. Rated R 4-2 up. Team Sick went on to win their game against Gridiron 2-1, 5-0 on this map exhibit. And they will go in to Championship Sunday, as will Regal Reserve. But back to this game, Obey Alliance now 1 round away from dropping down the losers yet.
Yeah, I'm curious at this point what is going through Obey's heads. The weapon placement screen is a very important one for them now going forward. This could be the last opportunity, and I wouldn't be surprised if it is, with the way Rated R is playing. Let's see, placement-wise, shot grenade thrown down, and that, I guess that's an advantage, it's safe to say here, given that they can hold Rated R off on one corridor. They could even force players out of cover, and then make plays on the opposing side. So, you know, this could be a very important utensil, actually, in the whole fight and strategy down bottom. I'm curious. TJ is the man to pick it up. Breaker? Is he going to have anyone else on his side? No, he's on his own. So they're going to be playing aggressive through the middle, it seems, Obey, with that shot grenade. But they need to throw it now. Here comes TJ. Here it is. Thrown in, and it will... No, it won't actually get the down on Strikers. Marsh picking up, or getting down, or getting taken out, excuse me, by an Incend as Pains gets dropped by J-Rage. Very good start from Obey Alliance here.
Nicely done from Obey, and it needs to be flawless throughout the next 3 rounds. He's in their hands. Breaker having a good game, as said. Oh, well, he's sitting in negative, but either way, he's done the business when we've needed him to for Obey. Find themselves behind. It will be up to him to put up a good performance for his team to try and get the back into this one. TJ has been dropped though, and Breaker suddenly left all alone. Rated R run through them. He is in their sights now as well. Ashen's not in the best spot. Strikers on the overextension as well. Needs to win this gunfight against Saki. The flash comes through. Can he clean it up? Saki gonna have to back on down. Strikers. Noobs rolls into that one. And D will go back in the favor of Obey Alliance, but it was a domination about to tick. The control belongs to Rated R either way.
Yeah, brilliant job from Strikers there, winning the 1v up top while all the commotion was going downstairs. And he was able to blink a triple cap for the moment. TJ is going to push up and find Pains, but Dragons is on hand to provide the support fire and find kill back. Radar holding on quite nicely. Incense are into the mix, and they need to connect at this point in time, Chris. Like, they have to get these kills to open things up. Dragons, lovely shot on J-Rage there. Ashen's is still here, though, but not in a good situation as they go wide on him. Find left, right, and center. Kills down this center room. Hills are changing on both sides here, Chris. Domination coming on through. 3 seconds on the clock. You'd expect them to get the break in time. Saki is on his own. He will fall. And Rated R do recover, and they will be able to mount an offensive back towards Z-Hill.
They recover, but Obey Alliance very much in a good spot here. Win condition belongs to them. 45 seconds or so is all they need to get back into this game. Obey, well positioned. J-Rage and Ashen's on 0 respawns. Strikers on 0 respawns. It's going to come down to that. You feel that's a good shot going to come in, though. Slazen, is he going to be dropped in time before he captures it? No.
I'd love
He
to
gets
see
a hold
aggression
of
here,
E.
though, Chris. They
Yeah,
have,
I know,
they have the numbers. Obey, they have stacked numbers on either corridor. Go on that before the players are revived.
Slazen is dropped eventually. But you're very, very right. You would have liked to see them force that aggression. But I think they're concerned. Like 3 players are sitting here on 0 respawns, but Ashens is going to find 1. He's sitting on 0 himself, and he just keeps going. The aggression coming in. They are going to eventually drop Pains, but he does find Saki first. Saki, thankfully, one of the players on Obey Alliance with more than 1 respawn, is everybody else just trying to hold on here against Rated R. Cog Team win condition is now cut down. They can do it off of 1 cap. They just need to defend their home hill for 15 more seconds. Ashen needs to survive. He does. He finds a second as well. That is stunning Gears of War from Ashens. He's staying alive as best as he can. This is 4 kills in a row from him without death, and he's lingering on the edge of going back to the respawn and not getting back into the game, but it doesn't matter. Obey Alliance with a 3rd there. Good God, Ashens, that was disgusting.
It was aesthetically pleasing, if nothing else, Chris. Every single shot was being hit. He had to hold his ground. He was up-Aing around every corner to keep out of up-A distance from the Rated R players. Yeah, and also on 0 respawns and finding that up-A in the end. Lovely hold of a shot. As I said, gorgeous shotgunning from Ashens, the man there. Well played indeed. Weapon placement-wise, the disable comes on through, as Obey will no longer have that at their disposal. And yeah, you said it. Look at the spawns on either team. 1 respawn for Strikers and Dragons next to their names there, so they'll essentially get 2. And likewise for Obey, 4 players, even Breaker's on 2 left himself now.
Rated R can be aggressive here, though. They can be aggressive. They've got plenty of lives. They basically, you send Slays and you send Marsh in, and you try and support, you send Pains in as well. Strikers and Dragons can sit back and Lancet. But I tell you what, it's going to be TJ getting it down onto Marsh, and J-Rage cleaning it up. So Obey Alliance survived that initial fray, but they probably could do with getting a hold of E while they have the number advantage, and then inviting Rated R to try and bring the pressure in. Ashens with 1 respawn is going to push in. He's going to get dropped. Can they clean him up? He really could do with a hand. I think they're just going to sacrifice him, but they do get a hold of it. But can they find much else? J-Rage, though, is going to get caught napping, and Strikers and Co. will push around and get the kills. They will get a hold of E as well. The domination ticked in for Obey Alliance there, is no doubt Saki is the one pushing over the top of the bridge. And he will continue to keep Obey Alliance in a good spot here. Oh, he would have liked that kill, though.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Marsh has done well to find that if Saki didn't. Maybe just a hair closer so he can find the Gib straight off the rip. Dragon's trying to find a surprise kill here on a breaker. Oh, he nearly found the second before finishing breaker, but couldn't quite get there. Obey Alliance still in this round. They're in the lead, but Rated R have control.
And it has to be said, right, Saki is doing such amazing work up top. You can always bank on him to at least go 50-50 with your opponent, regardless of who that might be. And on 0 deaths, it's such a pressured 1v1, is that up top and that push into essentially the enemy spawn.
By the way, look at everybody on 0 respawns.
I know. That is 6 players in the whole game on 0 now. On such a close quarters heavy map of Exhibit, the pressure is mounting at this point.
The thing is, here for Obey, they're the ones in control, so Rated R have to make something happen. If I'm Breaker, I'm getting the hell out of there, but Ashens drops. That's a big kill. They need to find Strikers or Dragons to even these odds, but they're losing E in the process. The good thing is, here for Obey, they do have time on their side. They do have a very, very slight lead. The win condition will go over towards Rated R here, but Obey Alliance have time to play with. Saki is going to be down, but he will be picked back up. They need to find a kill on Strikers or Dragons to have a chance here.
Yep, and that's it. It's so difficult to push in with numbers, never mind without the numbers. Oh no. Yeah, that's another.
Breaker on 0 respawns. Saki gone as well. Ashens and J-Rage are gone. It's a 3v5. The only reason I'm speaking of this being doable is because Dragons is on 0 respawns, as is Strikers, but Saki gone as well. And Breaker, the last one for his team.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Well. Yeah,
can he do something?
Very, very well.
Just spawn a nuke at this point. That's your only hope. The elimination comes on through as Rated R do see it out 5-3, the final score. Not as close as it was on Asylum, and your more typical, traditional Rated R on show on Exhibit. Dragons with the MVP in game there at the end. And I mean, honestly, well played Rated R in the end. Obey had some great rounds in Exhibit also, but it was clearly favoring Rated R in the corridors a number of times there. That's the final scoreboard, as you can see. Wins Rated R going the way of them. Asylum on exhibit 5-4 and 5-3 respectively. Of course, if you missed that first map, guys, and you're just tuning in, do go back and watch that, because that was an incredible showing from Obey in the first half, but not so much in the second.
Yeah, very, very tough. I do think, in the first half of exhibit as well, there's a couple of rounds that could have went Obey Alliance's favor. That 250, 249-1 standing out. They just didn't capture B quickly enough. They get that quicker, and suddenly it's their round. But there you go. A close win for Rated R, who, I'll be honest, on a couple of occasions didn't quite look themselves. Obey Alliance will take some solace in the fact that they did push Rated R on that one. It has to be said. They pushed them all the way, but the disappointment will be at that first map. It will really, really hurt. The way that they lost it, if they lose that 5-4 and, it's backwards and forwards all the way through and you unfortunately lose it, then it's like, okay, well, a couple of rounds here and there, a very good team against Rated R, but the fact they were 4-0 up and couldn't quite get it done is a very, very disappointing way to lose that map, then lose the series. Of course, let's have a look at the winner's bracket, though, and find out how it has broken down so far. Rated R will punch their spot in the winner's bracket final. Who will they play next, though? It's going to be between Elevate and 3x Rowdy. That's the only game left to play today, and that will be coming up soon. But Team Sick are going to win against Gridiron and will find themselves in the loser's bracket round 3. They'll play the loser of Elevate and 3x Rowdy, of course. But Obey Alliance drop to the loser's bracket, and they will face Regal Reserve tomorrow. That's a tasty game. If Obey Alliance can keep playing how they're playing, then that's a very, very good game on the cards. But just on Monday, Regal Reserve beat them 5-0, 5-0, so they will have confidence as well, no doubt. We're going to taste the day lined up tomorrow, Toby. Has to be said.
We do, and Obey, I think it's safe to say they've been more sure-footed in their plays today. I like the confidence. You saw Breaker as an individual holding right hand a little bit closer than before. The aggression. At times, though, of course, they lacked aggression as well, mind you. Yeah. They didn't have that clutch factor that we speak to with Rated R and Elevate, and you'd like to see more of that. The question is, if Obey can play just like they have today, or in this matchup against Regal tomorrow, have Regal got the clutch factor that Rated R have in those very close rounds? Could they then swing the other way and Obey find themselves in a victorious position? That is definitely a storyline going into tomorrow. How Obey turn up? That's for sure.
Yeah, it's one of those where if Obey can, as I said, play like that against Regal, then suddenly it's a question to ask. They look so good when they were being aggressive, especially on Asylum towards those tracks. But I do believe we have Elevate's game coming up. The first time we're going to see Elevate very, very shortly. We're going to go for a quick break. The final game of the day coming up just after this.